Have you ever wondered what the Bible says about the end of the world? It's a question that has captivated minds for centuries. Today we're re-diving deep into the King James Version to uncover the prophecies that paint a picture of a day the world will change forever. This isn't about feeling, it's about understanding what has been written and what it could mean for us. Let's start with a passage that many of you might know, from the book of Matthew, chapter 24. Jesus himself is speaking to his disciples on the Mount of Olives. They ask him, "Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world?" Jesus' answer is detailed and profound. He warns them first, "Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many." This is the first sign, a rise in deception. We're told to be vigilant, to hold fast to the truth, because many will try to lead people astray with false promises and false identities. He continues, "And they shall hear of wars, and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." Think about that for a moment. Wars and conflicts are described as a part of the process, but not the final event itself. It's a sign that things are in motion. Jesus then adds, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes, in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows." The phrase "beginning of sorrows" is so powerful. It suggests that these global events, conflict, hunger, disease, and natural disasters are, like the first contractions of a world in labor, leading up to a great and final change. It's a sober reminder of the fragility of our world and the need for compassion and preparedness. These aren't just headlines. They are signs foretold thousands of years ago, but the prophecies don't stop with global events. They also touch on the human heart and society. The Apostle Paul, writing to his young protege Timothy, gives us another piece of the puzzle. In 2 Timothy chapter 3, he writes, "This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come." What do these perilous times look like? Paul describes a society where people will be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce-breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. This reads like a social commentary for our modern age, doesn't it? It describes a breakdown of morality, a rise in selfishness, and a loss of genuine faith. People might go through the motions of being religious, but their hearts are far from it. Paul's advice is stark. From such turn away. It's a call to guard our own hearts and minds against these corrosive influences. Now, let us turn our attention to one of the most mysterious and discussed books of the Bible, the book of Revelation. Written by the Apostle John while exiled on the island of Patmos, it's a vision of cosmic conflict and ultimate redemption. It's filled with symbolic language beasts, dragons, seals, and trumpets that has fascinated scholars for ages. One of the central figures to emerge in the end times narrative is the Antichrist. The Apostle John mentions this figure in his letters, and the book of Revelation describes a powerful leader, often called the Beast, who rises to global prominence. Revelation 13 says this figure will have authority over all kindreds, and tongues, and nations. He will perform great wonders, deceiving many, and will establish a system where no one can buy or sell unless they have his mark. This concept of a mark of the beast has fueled endless speculation, especially in our technologically advanced world. What could this mark be? The Bible says it will be on the right hand or in the forehead. While we can't say for sure what form it will take, the prophecy highlights a time of immense pressure to conform to a worldly system that stands in direct opposition to God. It presents an ultimate test of loyalty. Alongside the rise of this figure, Revelation describes a series of cataclysmic judgments poured out upon the earth. These are often visualized as the breaking of 7 seals, the sounding of 7 trumpets, and the pouring out of 7 bowls of wrath. Each of these unleashes progressively more severe plagues and disasters, from ecological collapse to widespread warfare. For example, when the 3rd trumpet sounds in Revelation chapter 8, a great star called wormwood falls from heaven, poisoning a third of the rivers and springs. This is symbolic language, of course, but it points to a level of environmental devastation that is hard to even imagine. These judgments are portrayed not as random acts of chaos, but as a divine response to humanity's rebellion and wickedness. It sounds incredibly bleak, I know, but here's the crucial part of the story that often gets overlooked in the sensationalism. The Bible does not end with destruction. It ends with hope. It ends with the glorious return of Jesus Christ. This is the climax of the entire biblical narrative. Matthew 24 describes it this way: "And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the 4 winds, from one end of heaven to the other." This isn't a secret, quiet arrival. It's a visible, public, and triumphant event. Every eye will see him. For those who have placed their faith in him, it is a moment of ultimate rescue and reunion. This event is often called the Second Coming. Following his return, Revelation chapter 20 describes the final judgment. The beast and the false prophet are defeated, and an era of peace is ushered in. But the most beautiful part of the vision comes in chapters 21 and 22. John sees a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. In this new creation there is no more pain, no more sorrow, no more death. Revelation 21 verse 4 says, "And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away." This is the ultimate promise. It's not just about escaping a time of trouble, it's about entering into an eternity of joy and fellowship with God. He will dwell with humanity, and all things will be made new. The end of this world, as we know it, is simply the beginning of a perfect, restored world. So, what does all of this mean for us, right here, right now? It's not about trying to predict dates or obsessing over headlines. Jesus himself said in Matthew 24, "But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only." The purpose of these prophecies is not to scare us, but to prepare us. It's a wake-up call. It encourages us to examine our own lives. Are we living in a way that reflects the values of God's kingdom? Are we building our lives on a foundation of faith, hope, and love? The Apostle Peter gives us some very practical advice in his second letter. Chapter 3 he says, "Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of God?" His point is that knowing the end is coming should change how we live today. It should motivate us to live with integrity, to love our neighbors, and to share the message of hope that is found in the Bible. It's a call to be lights in a world that can sometimes feel very dark. It's about being ready, not by stockpiling supplies in a bunker, but by cultivating a heart that is right with God. The story of the end times, as told in the KJV Bible, is a grand, sweeping narrative. It speaks of turmoil and tribulation, but it culminates in triumph and restoration. It assures believers that no matter how chaotic the world becomes, God is in control and has a beautiful plan for the future. The day the world changes forever is not just a day of judgment, but a day of redemption. It's the fulfillment of a promise made long ago, a promise of a world set right, where righteousness dwells and peace reigns supreme, and that is a future worth looking forward to. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through these ancient prophecies. If this has sparked your curiosity or given you a new perspective, I encourage you to open a Bible for yourself and continue to explore these truths. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the scriptures. See you next time.